We have finally gotten the March tier shifts. And for those astute Inu enjoyers like me, look at all his mons. Look at this little guy. Look at little Mew, my mascot. You wouldn't know that because I don't have a Mew anymore on the channel, but it's my custom avatar. Among a whole bunch of other demons. I'm also just going to hover over this random drop here because I like to do that during these. I don't know what this mon's doing in this tier, but you know what? It's not my problem. That's theirs. And of course, since we got all these changes, I could not do this alone. So I have summoned Awen from the Shadow Realm. Let's talk about these with me. Say hi to the people.
What is poppin'? The yearly collab, it's back in action.
Indeed, indeed.
We are ready.
Make sure you subscribe to Awen if you're not, which you're probably not, so go fix that. He's done a couple player interviews for NU in video format. There's going to be more in the future, so if you want to hear from some of the, highly relevant NUers, make sure you go drop a visit.
We're trying to get Rabia to 10k subs. Get me to 100. That's all I ask. I'm at like 50-something right now.
We can do it.
Get me
get
to 100.
Awen to 100 subscribers. I'll do a 2-hour-long PS Live. How does that sound?
That's a good deal.
Yep. So, there's a lot of shifts, so it's kind of hard to figure out a spot to start. So I'm going to have a start with just the NDD Rose to Yu. And this is something I'm pretty happy to see, because it's the first one that we see dropping down to NU, which is Armor Rouge. Y'all know Psychic Terrain has been good in basically every lower tier, but particularly with Armor Rouge in them. The mon is absolutely cracked, and to see the better of the entities rise out of my tier, I'm very happy about that. So we won't have to deal with that, but we still did get Armor Rouge. What are your thoughts on Armor Rouge? I'm thinking this mon's going to be high-key broken.
I think it's going to be really good. I don't know. It kind of reminds me of Chandelure a little bit.
Uh-huh.
It's like an obscenely strong, not like necessarily fast fire type. It's going to have its checks, but it's also strong as shit. So I don't know how to feel about it.
I think the big difference with Chandelure is you don't have the worry about speed, because you got weak armor stuff.
That's true.
And of course, the common set it was always running was like Sash, even Sash plus Endure to make sure you got your speed boost. So not only does the mon hit like 27 freight trains going at maximum speed, but it's also kind of hard to revenge kill because you got the terrain, you got the speed. It's kind of annoying like that.
Its bulk is also like not terrible
Mm-hmm.
for the sweepy kind of mon. It's 85 100 or 85 180, which is not bad.
Coverage is also really nice. It gets Aura Sphere, I think, right?
It does.
Yeah, so you have coverage for Incineroar even if you wanted to try using that to check it.
It also gets Meteor Beam, which I find hilarious.
Meteor Beam time.
It's what else does it get? It gets Scorching Sands. I'm just looking at it. Energy Ball. That's pretty much it. Psychic Stab, Armor Cannon.
Yeah, Expanding Force is the big one because I think without it, maybe some of the water types could check it because like Energy Ball, it probably two-shots you, but it's better than getting one shot. I don't know how well those hold up to E-Force under terrain,
It also has Overheat, so some eject pack shenanigans could happen as well. Armor Cannon's the exact same thing there.
Yeah, a little better too. Is that one drops your what's it called? Defenses, right?
Defenses, yeah.
Yeah, better than your special attack.
That's weaker, but who cares?
Yeah.
You're pivoting. That's the whole purpose.
Then we got the Belly, and I think this one's gonna be really annoying because it has Toxic for one, and in a tier with one Cleric, I could say that finally we got Chansey back. In a tier with only one Cleric, and not really too many other mons that are wanting to switch into Belly Bolt, like in general. It's pretty annoying. You've got Reuniclus, but I'm gonna keep it a stack with all y'all. I don't see Reuniclus sticking around too long. It is a demon.
Yeah, I don't think it does.
I do think it's nice that it checks all the electrics pretty well, especially when you see threats like Magnezone dropping. That should be pretty nice just to have defensively. It's going to be a pretty good pivot, I figure. I don't know how splashable it is for teams, but it should be fun.
Yeah, I mean, as a base electric, like with no dual type, it's kind of... it's kind of weird, but at the same time, I think Belly's going to be fucking great. Like, I'm really hyped about this. Because, like, yeah, it has a shallow move pool, where you look at the builder and slack off as the 8th move listed in its move pool. It's very shallow, but like it has a lot of good tools. It has great bulk, has reliable recovery, toxic, 2 pretty dope abilities with electromorphosis, making it strong as hell. And then you also have static, which static Rocky Helmet is probably going to be crazy.
I think Electromorphosis too, if you think of like Terra Water Bellable, is a check to Rain, which Rain will be pretty good.
Rain is going to be, it's going to be something.
I think that sounds pretty nice.
I think that something is going to be good.
Mm-hmm. We got Dumb Little Bramblegast. It's probably going to be not like ass, but I don't think it's going to be super, super good. It gives you spikes and spin in one slot, and we've been wanting more removal, so I'm not going to complain about getting it.
Yeah, I don't think it's like bad by any means. Like it has good tools. It's fast. It's like relatively strong too. Like 115.
It's got
with
Poltergeist too. I think
it has Poltergeist and Power Whip. So this is basically like the reincarnation of Delmise, just without the bulk. But
Faster
it also has
Delmise, basically, yeah.
Yeah, it also has Strength Sap, which I think is fun.
You could even do like Spin Sap, Polter Whip. I think that's not too bad for a set.
It has Leech Seed. I'm like looking at its utility. I mean, it does have. Oh, I thought it had SD for some reason.
That would be really good.
It has Trailblaze. I mean, offensive could be decent with like Trailblaze Whip.
Joey and I did something for like a Tailwind team with Bramblegast a while back.
Oh shit! It does have Wind Rider. I forgot about that.
It was not great. I'm sure people would expect, but I've used worse.
You know, it's probably not that bad.
Yeah.
But it's not going to be like super phenomenal. It's not going to be bad either.
I think competition will be the big thing for it because Serena, of course, exists.
Yeah.
And I think will still be generally viewed as better because knockoff.
Yo, Bramble gets trapping, which I think is fun.
That could be cool.
Trapping with Leech Seed. Infest Leech Seed.
I just don't know if you beat anything with that you would rather not like just be hitting with Poltergeists and Power Whips, you know?
I mean Umbreon, I guess, but I don't know how relevant Umbreon's gonna be in this meta.
Do you trap Umbreon though? I think you get toxic and lose to foul play 1v1.
Well, you just do sub Leech Infest and then make your like Terra Poison or something.
That could work. That could work. We get Chansey back finally after losing both it and Blissey for months. Have it back. I don't really anticipate it being very good though. Maybe
I don't think
okay.
it's gonna be. I don't think it's gonna be good in like a majority of builds, just because of how like high the power level is and how prevalent knockoff is.
I think also too. You think about what Chansey's good for defensively, right? We just have better options that don't need a Violite for bulk, meaning they aren't as like punished by hazards getting up. They don't have the crippling knock weakness, etc., etc.
Yeah. I think Chansey, just because it's the only mon, only relatively viable mon with Heal Bell, shoutouts to Chimecho, but I think it might be used on fat builds because we do have good options now for stall.
We do. We can run full stall.
I mean, we have Belly, we have Chansey, we got Quag, which we'll talk about in a minute. But
Ditto still.
Ditto. There's good mons for stall. It's just I'm not sure how good stall will be in this powerful of a meta, which is unprecedented levels of power coming to NU since Oras when Megas got released and Mega Altaria was NU and Mega Lopunny.
Alright, I'm building the viewers a stall. Ditto, Chansey, Runiclus, Quagsire, Registeel. Who's last?
I completely blanked on what you just said, but just throw a.
I'm building a stall.
Okay, I got that part. Do you have a Wish Passer?
No. So it'll be Umbreon. Thank you.
Or Vapor. Because we also got that
here. There's a Quagsire. So there you go. If you hate people having fun, just fill in some sets with this stall right here. You'll be good. Maybe I'll use it on ladder too. I'll do a video where I piss everyone off.
Isn't that every video?
Yeah, it is.
Shoutouts to the people.
Shoutouts. Next one's Galvantula, aka Spider, and that's with a capital Y. This mod is. I think we need to have the reincarnation of the most team ever.
The most team ever would work I think the only problem is that we have to use Hitmonlee.
There's also no Silvally.
There's also no Silvally Ghost, but like, there's also no Xatu, which is like I'm thinking about this.
No, it's okay, right? So instead of
We
Silvally
do, like,
Ghost, you use Bramblegast with Wind Rider, right?
Oh, okay.
And instead of
there's also no Doublade. Like,
you're really testing me here.
yeah, like I'm thinking about this. We'll just have to do like Mew for
True,
Mew over Xatu, even though it lost Cosmic Power.
That's fine. Don't need
But we'll have to do like CM with Weakness Policy.
Good enough.
Yeah.
We'll figure it out. Or Screamtail. Do the Demon Screamtail.
That would also work.
It won't, because that mon's shit, but, you know.
Don't tell Wadley that, bro. Please.
Dude, every time I see him use it, I'm just like, please change that mon to Glow, bro. You will have so much more fun. But yeah, I mean, I think Avantula will exist for webs, and not really anything else.
I think it's like kind of strong.
It is.
Like we said that last gen, and last gen it was still shit. Yeah.
I mean, that's kind of
even
the issue,
in
right?
even in like a lower power level gen, where like the strong physical breaker was a mon with 95 base attack. And
Shouts to Valley.
Shouts to and Drapion, I guess, if that works too. And like the strong, I mean, we had really strong special breakers, but like physical breakers, not great. We had some good special walls too.
We did.
So like, Galv, I feel like for webs, fine enough. Someone's gonna try using specs and it's gonna be horrible, and then they just wish that they used, I don't know, any other Pokemon. Like Raikou, who we also got, who's faster and stronger.
And can set up.
Yeah. I think it's gonna be like perennially, like, I don't want to say like a noob trap, but like it's not gonna be good.
It sounds like something we'd throw in C rank on the first VR update.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I'm thinking.
And then try to unrank as quickly as we can in the hopes that it'll dissuade people from using it.
Right.
And then we got Gastrodon up next, and this is a trend you'll notice through this video. We went from having basically 0 bulky water types, really not many water types, period, to having basically every water type that RU had. So Gastrodon starts off our list. And this is also finally a water immunity. So that's also a trend you'll see. We actually have those now too. But of course, Gastrodon got some great buffs this gen. It actually gets at hazards now, which is quite insane. Yeah. It still has recovery. Hazards are great, yeah.
I thought it had flip turn, but I'm thinking of the other water ground that we got.
Yeah, a little spoiler for later, Mr. Pert's down there.
Yeah. I mean, Gastro is one of, I just counted, it's one of 9 water types that we just got.
Yeah.
One of 9.
One of probably like 6 or 7 specifically bulky water types too, which is insane.
I think for the time being that we have it, because there's a good likelihood that it rises back up to RU.
Yep.
At the end of the month. Or not at the end of the month. Well, like, once the month is all said and done, there's a good chance it probably rises back up to RU, because RU lost a fuckload of waters. 9 of them dropped, which I mean, I guess they still could use them, but they also lost Slowking, like Rotom Wash, to UU. So there's going to be some waters coming and going, I feel like, from NU.
Yeah, I just did the little command in PS. The only specifically bulky water that they have now is Empoleon. Everything else is an offensive water type.
Yeah, I guess Blastoise doesn't count because it lost Toxic.
Yeah.
And is now a Shell Smash Sweeper. But I mean, bleak. I think Gastro for the time being, it's just like a nice blanket check to a lot of shit. Like, it walls Basky Legion, which going from like an A, where do we have that on VR? Like A plus, somewhere in there?
Yeah, Legion's an A right now.
Yeah, so Legion's gonna go from like A to like
D.
I was gonna say D, but I don't want to be that extreme.
I don't think Legion's gonna be good anymore. It'd probably be B rank though, around there.
Yeah, like B minus, B.
Surely Scarf Legion still gets some matchups where it's useful. Like if you run into the Swampert teams.
Yeah.
Or even the Milotic builds, you just still flip turn on that forever. You don't really care.
Yeah, that's true. I think it's gonna be. I think Gastro just like generally checks a lot too.
It does.
Just because of natural bulk. And it has recovery, like it's a water immune, it has hazards, has good utility. Like it's gonna be a cool mon.
I like it too, because the issue I've always had with Gastra, right, is you're a ground type that you don't have hazards with, and you're a bulky water that doesn't really offer utility like a lot of other bulky waters. So now that it can set hazards, it kind of fixes that issue for it.
Very true.
Then there's Gyarados. This mod will last an Inu for maybe a week if I'm feeling generous.
Yeah, this mod is not lasting.
I don't even really think we need to talk about it much. It DDs up on HO and it will win because
it DDs up on HO and wins. It DDs up with taunt on balance. Like, or I'm saying like versus balance. You taunt, you DD. Danny used this in BDSP Premier League way back, so like a couple summers ago, and it swept like immediately.
Thank God it lost Power Whip at least, so it doesn't have
it did lose Power Whip.
Ever.
It doesn't have as crazy coverage, but it's still gonna be strong. Like you still DD taunt versus like Vapo, Suicune, which we'll get to.
And a lot of these mods also lost Scald, the bulky waters, so they don't even really check it that well to begin with.
Gyarados has Scald, which I find.
Because why not?
Yeah, why not? Oh, it also has weirdly enough, it has like physical, like decent fire coverage now.
Oh right, what's that move called?
Temper Flare, which is basically just stomping tantrum.
Yeah, so it has a coverage for grasses now that's not contingent on it being a 2-turn move.
Yeah, like I don't even know if it doesn't even have bounce anymore.
Is it not?
It doesn't. It does not.
Terra Blast flying my beloved, I guess.
Yeah, it doesn't have flying stab, but it's still gonna be broken. Like this mon is not gonna be.
Yeah.
Like it's I don't even know type. It only has one flying move in its arsenal, and it's Hurricane.
Hurricane Gyarados, let's go. Run specs.
Yeah, it doesn't even have physical fucking...
Dude, it gets Thunder. I remember that.
Oh, cool. Awesome.
Then we got Incineroar next. And as an avid Gen 7 Inu enjoyer, I feel sad saying this. I'm not sure Incin will be that good.
Yeah. Also as an avid Incin enjoyer and Gen 7 enjoyer, because that's when I started playing Inu. It's not going to return to its heyday in any shape or form.
No. Like, even the ones that, in theory, it helps beat, right? Like Armarouge and Shandy, those are pretty easy to throw coverage on. And I feel like with Incin, that's the big issue now. With Terra, a lot of mons that it previously would just hard stop can very consistently tech Terra onto it to beat it down. Like,
I mean, Armarouge can just also Meteor Beam.
Okay, we're not making Meteor Beam Armarouge a thing.
Dude, it's gonna work. Trust me.
She also got Infernape, which is gonna give some issues to that bulky pivot. Well, not the pivot set really, but those bulkier variants.
Yeah.
In general, Infernape's a free switching onto them. Rotom Heat's probably a better pivot as well if you want a fire type pivot.
Yeah, because it's also immune to ground, immune to spikes.
And you got a lot of good dark types in the tier 2, so if you need to form a core maybe between it and something else.
Even like Talon is a better fire type pivot, I feel like, just because it's fast.
Though I think with Talon the question's gonna be, can you fit U-turn or status? Like, which do you want more?
I mean, we did last gen. We can make it work.
Yeah, but you also weren't throwing defog on it last gen too often.
That's true. I mean, I think Incin as like a general, I think like because we have like low-key decent hazard removal now, I think AV might not be that bad.
It could be. And some in Sun and Moon that wasn't bad was like Vaporeon plus AV Incin.
Yeah, like I think because of like the hazard removal low-key being decent now and a couple others, like I think it's gonna be okay.
I think it should at least be viable, but yeah, it's not gonna run the tier.
I think the funny set that I'm looking forward to is something I ran in Sun Moon, and I don't know, because I know there's like you got Neck Boy for the thing and Kathy for the Starfberry Trevenant, but it was Bulk Up, Flame Charge, Weakness Policy, Power Trip.
Very
with
good
Terra.
set.
Honestly, it probably goes ham.
It might still be good.
I don't want to give you guys ideas, but that might go ham.
And guys,
with the right Terra?
In this video, we're not trying to give any of you any ideas right now. The stall team, don't use it. No, don't use it, guys.
Don't use this Bulk Up Incineroar.
The stall team that doesn't have an earthquake switching, by the way, don't use. It's okay. The earthquake switching is your Ditto and transforming into the flying type in front of you. Don't worry. Next mon's Infernape, and I don't think it's gonna be broken, but it's definitely one I'm looking forward to using because it's got so many good sets. You can go like Bandage, Scarf, Nasty Plot, Swords Dance. I'm sure there's some bulky set that people could try. There's a lot this mon's got going for it.
Yeah, this one is crazy to say the least. Like there is, I think viably you could run like 6 sets on this mon.
Probably.
You can run like Hazard Lead, any of the choice items. SD I think would low key be decent. I mean, Nasty Plot probably goes crazy.
Got priority
like,
for both the setup sets too.
Priority. You have Trick in the form of Switcheroo. Hazards.
Is that a new move?
I think it might be. I don't know if it had it.
The hell?
Because Nape wasn't in Gen 8, was it?
No, I don't think so. None of the Sentinels were.
I want to look at Infernape in Gen 7. I will cross-check that real quick.
Yeah.
Sun Moon singles.
I think maybe the only thing that would hold Infernape back right now is really like Slowbro being in the tier.
Yeah, Switcheroo is new because I'm not seeing it in Infernape's moveset in Gen 7.
But yeah, Slowbro is going to be kind of a big roadblock for it because, you know, your dual stab's walled, and then your other moves are like U-turn and
Nape has
Thunder Punch.
knockoff at least.
That is helpful. So if you got like Helmet Slowbro, at least you can get rid of the helmet.
Yeah, and I mean it does have Nape has taunt as well.
Right.
And I don't even think like a bulky pivot set. I don't even think that would be that bad either because you have U-turn, you have Wisp, you have taunt. Like it's low key one of the most versatile mons I think we've seen in NU in a hot minute.
Yeah.
Where viably speaking, because it's not weak to rocks either, which is nice. It is weak to, you know, hazards if you're running like any choice item on it, but like it has good, like great moves and great versatility, which is, you know, very balanced offenses too. Like 104, 104, 108. It's gonna be pretty good to be honest.
I think
like,
so for sure.
I mean, is it broken? Potentially. But like I kind of doubt because you need 4 moves on a moveset. And those 4 moves aren't always going to beat like, because like I'm thinking of something like Entei from last gen, where Entei had 2 very viable sets and both of them were like fucking broken.
There was
like,
no overlap between them.
Yeah, there's no overlap at all. So that's like the same thing for Infinite. It's like I could see that happening, but at the same time, it's just like 104 back in the day probably was pretty strong.
It was. DPP
But nowadays
104 was fine.
Yeah, like 104 now, kind of on the weaker side. So it's like, I think just generally bulky things are going to check it. But it's like figuring out which set it is. Because like, okay, I switch in my Slowbro, but then I get Specs Grass Knotted.
Yep. Same with like Pert or Rhyperior even. If you wanted to try and switch Ripe into the fire move.
Yeah. And like even Rhyperior like fears potentially like a pivot Wisp.
Yep.
And like even it could even run like pivoting with a jetpack because it has overheat. Like it's just one of the craziest like move sets and versatile monkey mons we've seen in a hot minute.
And we got, I'm gonna have us talk about them both at the same time, Kilowattrel and Kingdrix. I think both of these are gonna make Rain really scary. Because we also got Overquill back, which we can talk about more later. But these are 2 mons that look to buff Rain up a lot, especially Kilowattrel, because if you're looking at things that check it, it's kind of tough, because it gets Weather Ball. And of course, Stab on Electric and Flying, and you have Perfectly Accurate Hurricane. It's not
Perfectly
a lot that really
accurate
balls
Thunders,
that.
too. Yeah, there's really very little. And I would say, like, the mons that would come to mind, like Gudra.
Dragalge, kind of.
Dragalge, Gudra.
Rhyperior can check it if there's no weather.
Yeah.
Or if it's not like, you know, Terra Blast water or something, if you're thinking outside of rain teams.
Yeah.
You've got, there's something else I wanted to say as a check there. Oh, Belly Bolt.
Belly Bolt does.
Belly Bolt's probably going to be the
it.
closest thing to a counter.
Yeah, because you can't really do much to Belly. Like you can weather, but you can't boost. That's the big thing with Kilowatt. So you're just like raw power. And weather ball, and it does have roost, which is cool.
Yeah,
which is
so
something
I
that
think
it has
those
on
pivot
rain.
sets could be good on balance.
It's
if you
something
could
it
just
has
do
on
Thunderbolt, Hurricane, U-turn, Roost.
Yeah, and it does have. Oh, I thought it had defog. It doesn't, but it's something over Thunderous is that reliable recovery, and it's also faster. Like it's 125, and it's also an electric immunity.
It is. It's got a lot going for it.
Yeah, it's also a defog deterrent because it has competitive.
The only shitty part about Kilowatt, let's say, is it's fragile as all hell, right?
Yeah, this mon is frail. It's 70, 60, 60. This mon's gonna die to like even neutral moves. Like it's gonna fall over.
You're gonna have to play really aggressive to get it in. Or with rain, I mean the nice thing with rain is there's a lot of mons with flip turn. So you should be able to get good entry with it. It's just I worry for non-offense. How effectively can you maximize Kilowatt as a threat? Or will it just be relegated to a meh pivot?
Especially because we just unbanned NUBL and Oricorio Pom Pom is back.
Yep.
Where that has both offensive and defensive utility in, like Quiver Dance. Where it becomes basically impossible to revenge kill specially with moves. Whereas Kilowatt just, kind of sits there.
Yeah. It doesn't do a whole lot outside of break and pivot. And when you have them on this frail, it can get a little bit hard if you're not making the right play every time that it's out. It helps when you're also this fast because it gives you more leverage around those turns, Hard for your opponent maybe to find the chance to revenge kill you if you're faster than everything on their team. Is just how do you actually get it out there to start breaking? Weirdly enough, I think Kingdra actually doesn't have this issue as much because the bulk, it's not great, but it's at least kind of like okay. It's like 80 across the board.
Yeah.
You resist water 4 times over, so just like last gen, if you want, you can use it to exploit a lot of the bulky water types, whether it's like doing stuff like sub-focus energy, or even just using them as a switch in. I mean, it still works. Something like Melodic isn't really going to dissuade you from coming in and throwing off,
you're talking Kingdra.
Yeah,
I like zoned out for a half second, and I was very confused. But yeah, bulk-wise, it's 75, 95, 95.
Oh, even better than I thought. Wow. So yeah, it's not like that's amazing or anything, but it's, for a wall breaker, certainly far better than what we're talking with Kilowatt. And of course,
yeah,
with rain,
it's definitely a lot more. It's definitely a lot more. I don't want to say like usable because both of them are going to be good. But it's like I think it's just gonna help a lot because it's not gonna die in one.
Yeah.
Like Kilowatt. Like Kilowatt is gonna fold. It's gonna get like maybe like one kill and then die. Whereas Kingdra's bulk allows it to punch a lot more holes.
It kind of helps too, right? That the fairy types in NU aren't actually all that dominant right now.
Yeah.
Because we look at our tier for fairies, there's Florgus and Sylveon, and then, I mean, Keys, I guess.
I mean, Keys, Grimmsnarl, Diancie, but those aren't really used as fairy
Grim
types.
and Diancie. Diancie, obviously, you kill it with Surf. Grim, that mod's not bulky. Keys, I don't think it's standing up to Surf under Rain. And then so you're looking at Sylveon and Florgus. Sylveon's not that common and it's probably going to have to terastalize to really hold up.
I mean, I think you're forgetting one very important new move that I got.
Oh boy.
And it is Wave Crash.
Oh, you can go physical on it now then.
Yeah, that's what I was just about to drop the bomb. He does have Scald too, which I find funny, but it's not going to be used. But Wave Crash does allow you, he has DD too.
Right.
So I mean, like even outside of Rain, I think DD Kingdra could be pretty nice as well.
For sure.
He has flip turn, like, and so like even I don't even know if you would go fully special on Rain. I think you could just do mixed.
You could. I think the only worry I'd have with like Wave Crash Kingdra for Rain specifically is you do have a lot more competition there from like Basque Legion.
That is true.
I think it helps that Kingdra's got the better coverage, but it's not really that much better.
Yeah, that's true. And I guess, yeah, even with Rain now, Basque Legion, it can be used on Rain.
Yeah, Legion's just a bit stronger. which
That's
helps it
true.
overall.
I kind of forgot about that. I forgot he had more than just adaptability. But...
Yeah. You can move on now. Mr.
Yeah.
Crocodile.
Crook.
This mon being Inu is very weird to me because this has been a UU staple for so long.
Yeah, this has been like when I started Mons, I played Ors UU. This was like my fucking guy. Like I love Crocodile.
Mm-hmm.
Like, and like it was like I think Gen 7 it might have fallen down to RU. I think at one point. Gen 8 I know for a fact it was RU.
Mm-hmm.
For a bit at least. And now he's back. Now he's an NU, which just does not make sense.
And this is even with it getting knockoff back. I know it lost it at the start of the gen, but
yeah,
he's got knock, EQ, rocks, CC, Stone Edge. I mean, basically all the moves it used to have. It's just, I guess, not enough to keep it up in RU or UU anymore.
Yeah, I guess it's just kind of, I don't know. Like Crook to me kind of feels like a very linear mon.
Right.
Where it's like you know what it's doing because its stats are like it's very obvious. Like 117 base attack, 92 base speed. Like, okay, so he's a physical attacker, he's using ban or choice scarf. You know, it has two good abilities, intimidate, moxie. Like the pool is good, but it's like you can kind of figure out what he's doing. Knock off earthquake, coverage for whatever you're missing there. Like he has gunk shot. So you can use that for grasses, I guess, and like other shit. But like, it's just a very linear mon, I feel like.
Yeah, I feel like a lot of the coverage ends up not being too practical outside of like gunk shot, like you said, and even CC. And
it does have CC. I kind of forgot about that.
And so the movesets end up being very consistent across battles. You don't see a ton of deviation from like 6 or 7 or so moves, and a couple of those moves are mandatory. You're always running EQ and knockoff. And so I do like what this does. It's kind of similar to a Flygon when you see Scarf Rocks on offense, where it does give you a lot of nice roll compression through even just defensive utility. It's not the bulkiest, especially if you're on offensive EVing.
Yeah.
But it still has a lot of key resistances and immunities that help.
Yeah, I think the electric immunity is cool because, obviously blocking Volt Switch. But, like, even when I look at what it's weak to, it's like you have a Dark Resist, a Ghost Resist, which is pretty cool for, like, Chandelure. Poison Resist, you're resistant to rocks. Immune to Electric, Psychic. You're also immune to Prankster, which is cool. For, like, I mean, obviously keys can just click Play Rough, right? But, like, even then.
Oh, we didn't even talk about Sash lead for HO. Because it does get Rock's Taunt.
It does have Rock's Taunt, knockoff. Like, and Endeavor. Like, it could be a pretty solid, lead on HO.
I think they've run it a decent amount in RU earlier this gen.
I mean, when you don't have knockoff, it's like, what can you run? Like, they were forced to run Crunch. I think he has Throat Chop. Like, so it was like Crunch or Throat Chop with Earthquake. Like, Edgequake coverage and, like, some other shit like that. But I think Crook is just, like, the definition of good. Like, I think he's going to be good. He might not be broken. But
I don't anticipate it being broken at all. I think it'll be a solid option.
I think ground coverage into this tier is quite good. Like, actually, when I look at the top of RU, or the top of NU, and just look at, like, how many mons we have here that are weak to ground, it's a lot. It's actually, like, quite a ton.
I'm wondering how Crook and Flygon interact with usage, because, of course, they're a little different still. Flygon's a pivot, primarily.
Yeah.
Crook
also
is closer to a breaker, maybe.
Yeah.
Of course, Flygon could be a breaker as well, but you think about maybe their more natural role. Crook lends itself more to being a breaker, with it just being stronger. I'm kind of wondering how teams will decide between the two, because they offer a decent amount of the same defensive utility as well. They can still do the Scarf Rock stuff. They can both run Bandit if they want.
Yeah, and I don't think, like, Scarf Crook is as exploitable as
no,
a Scarf
you have knockoff, dude. No mon with knockoff's exploitable.
That's exactly the reason why, because you have knock, so it doesn't matter. Like, I can just knock off everything.
Yeah.
Any fairy type that wants to switch in, or any dark resist, just knock it off. Like, that's already progress. Compared to, like, Flygon, where if you Earthquake into a Gligar, obviously you're kind of Shimon there. You Outrage into a fairy type for some reason.
Gonzo.
Yeah, you're done. Like, whereas Crook, Earthquake is punishable, yeah, but, like, just click knock and then get some chip. And it also has like a decent like defensive utility move pool. Like you have foul play in there. I see taunt. I see rocks.
Yeah,
like
maybe pure
like
defensive
helmet.
sets could work.
I think helmet could be cool as kind of like a not on like a stall build, but like one of those fatter like balanced type of deals.
Right.
Where you just kind of need that check, because it does have intimidate, so it can at least check physical attackers somewhat, unless they're hitting it super effectively.
Yeah.
But like just like a general check to physical attackers.
Decent enough Lycanroc Dusk check maybe with intimidate.
Intimidate and Terra, I think you're fine.
Oh, speaking of Dusk Rock, that's the next mon here.
Oh yeah, this guy's gonna be crazy.
Yeah,
like,
so I don't think it's as clear-cut a ban as people will say, but I also don't think it's balanced. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I think it's... I mean, when you compare it, like, I'm thinking of physical rock-type breakers that we've had. Tarak comes to mind.
Yeah.
And I think this mon is a little bit crazier than Tarak.
I think it's debatable.
I think it's definitely... Well, yeah, I think it's debatable, but the big thing pushing it for me is, one, it's faster than Tarak.
Mm-hmm.
It's not stronger, obviously. But it also has Tough Claws, which is great.
Priority is the big thing, I'd say.
That is also true. It does have priority. Stab Accelerock.
Like, that just naturally limits your pool of offensive checks a little bit more.
Yeah.
I think, too, though, what keeps Tarak being maybe a little bit better is just having a secondary stab, so, like, CC.
That is true.
Like, both mons get CC, Tarak CC's better because it's stab, and so that means that the bulky ground types, maybe like your Mudsdales of the world, we don't have Hippowdon in the tier, but imagine we did. And in like something like Swampert, these mons don't really check Tarak nearly as well as they do Lycanroc. They're not as forced to terastalize by Tarak.
Yeah, like comparatively,
by Lycan, I mean, as they are with Tarak.
Yeah, CC from Lycanroc is slightly weaker. It's not like a huge difference. It's like a noticeable gap. It's 156 versus 180.
Right.
With Tarak. And it's also coming off of a stronger attack stat from Tarak, so maybe the difference becomes a little bit more. But I genuinely think that this mon probably is stupid in some capacity.
Agreed.
Like SD, like even SD, just Accelerock. Any switching that wants to happen, like Slowbro, yeah, that's kind of a check. Yeah, sure. But like Stone Edge, it's going to do a decent amount at +2. Even then, you can run Crunch. I feel like Crunch is like not a horrible option.
No, especially because of Palisand. Palisand walls you completely if you don't have Crunch.
And it's just like the same type of deal with Tarak, where it had to run coverage to break through it. And
or
same thing with
Terra Flying so that you 1v1'd it eventually with enough boosting.
Yeah. So I think Lycanroc is going to be a great tool for HO as well, because it will be an HO lead.
Mm-hmm.
It just like it kind of depends. It's like we have the other Lycanroc as well, the midday or whatever, which is slightly faster as a lead, but it's just kind of like the same deal. Do you want a slightly faster lead, or do you want a slightly stronger suicide lead?
I think you can make the argument that the other will be better just because of the speed, because if you get a faster taunt, then that's pretty good.
That's true, and the
or
110
a faster
speed tier
is KO, maybe.
Yeah, the 110 speed tier is also very congested.
Yeah.
Like Infernape is that's like 108, but that's gonna run Scarf anyway. But like even when I like filter by speed now, we got Raikou, which I mean is outspeeding both anyway. But like let me look. The big one was Espeon. That was the one that I was looking at, because like sure Espeon probably folds. And like Lycanroc Dusk is also slower than Thundurus, slower than Screamtail. Like, so like it's Screamtail's running like the bulky like Wadley setup set for some reason. Then obviously the other one can get a taunt off.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, there's probably an argument for either. I feel like the stronger Accelerocs I think are nice, but it just kind of depends. I think the mon's gonna be crazy good. Like probably like hovering around any of the A tiers for viability. Like I think he's gonna be good.
I'd probably put it around A+ just at a glance.
That's what I was thinking. Was like A plus initially, but if it was like A minus or A initially, I wouldn't care.
You've got the natural strength to pressure basically any non-rock resist with a 2-shot from Stone
Yeah.
Edge. And then for all of the checks that you do have to Stone Edge, you have the coverage. So I figured it's going to be one of the best breakers in the tier, one of the best limiters of offense as well, since its Accelerock is so good, or so strong. Should be one of our best breakers. Then we got the Zoner.
Oh no.
Yeah, so
Zoner.
Magnezone is a bit of a mixed bag for me, because I want to use it for trapping, but at the same time, do we trap anything with it? Like, what are we trapping?
Copper. That's like a.
Ugh.
I mean, see, the thing is, like, we've had this discussion, at least in the Enu room, for like a couple, like at least a month, maybe a month and a half, where we thought that in February, like at the beginning of February, we thought RU was going to drop Magnezone to us. And we were theorizing, and a lot of people just like defaulted to like analytic specs.
Which is what I will default to, yes.
Yes, I mean, a majority of people are in the right here to default to that. But I also think Magnet Pull, so like Copper is probably kind of ass right now based on the drops that we got. But like, I mean, you also trap Regiseal, I guess.
That's actually a pretty huge one for what it's worth. They only,
I think
you might have to
that's
Terra.
like, yeah, you do have to Terra to avoid Quake, which I mean, even then, I think trapping with Magnezone, and also if they're like Terra Ghost Reggie, you just kind of lose out anyway.
Yeah, that was what I was going to say even. It's kind of hard to trap Registeel because Ghost Terra, it's not particularly uncommon to begin with.
Yeah. I mean, even then, like I'm looking at it, maybe you don't even run Magnet Pull at all. Like I'm thinking about it, you only really trap Copper. And even then, that
Keys
could
as
also
well,
run Terra.
I guess.
Yeah, and Keys, yeah. And Keys can't really do much to you because it's hitting you like a wet paper bag because your attack is so low. It's not hitting you with foul play. It can only get up spikes. Like, it's... I think, like, the trapping ability is kind of nice. But at the same time, it's also, like, situational.
Right.
But I still do think that Iron Defense Body Press is still going to be a very good set. Like, the general bulk on it, 70-115. is quite good.
I could see it being just a decent standalone bulky sweeper, yeah.
Yeah, like Iron Defense Body Press with like Terra Fly, I think could be really sick. Or
I
even just
think
specs,
forcing
just kill
Terras is
everything.
still useful. I mean, there's nothing wrong with making a Registeel have to Terra Ghost, and then maybe that could help support a flying type on your team. Just because now, okay, well, you don't resist Hurricane from my, I don't know.
Yeah. Your kilowatt because we're doing electric spam.
Yeah, why not? Sure.
Yeah, I mean, I think Mag is going to be pretty strong. Like even Specs Analytic, we don't have a lot of switch-ins for that.
We have Belly Bolt. That's like
Belly Bolt is like
Rotom Heat.
really it. Rotom Heat probably gets
actually,
blown
okay.
up.
Belly Bolt, Rotom Heat, and then like Gastro, Quag, Pert.
I guess Pawmot as well. But even then, Pawmot's getting blown up by a
Pawmot.
Specs flash cannon. So
I was gonna
like,
say,
Raikou is probably a decent check to it.
maybe.
But even then, it gets pivoted on.
Mm-hmm.
Like
But
all the Volt
be good.
blockers get blasted by flash cannon, which is
They do.
a problem. Unless your
Outside
name's
of
like
the,
specially
water type
defensive
ones.
Torterra. Like that's it. And even then, Torterra doesn't even resist steel. So it's like,
I think on
I'm just-
specs, like Terra Blast, Grass probably would be really good too, because otherwise, I do think Pert and Gastro keep you in a cage for the entire
yeah,
battle.
those are the two that I was just about to mention. And Quag, I guess.
Yeah.
Same type of deal.
Quag
but
in the
like-
bag.
But I mean, even then, like a Quag switches in on a Specs flash cannon, it's taking like probably like 45, 50, maybe, and then it's forced to recover.
Yeah,
like,
it's
I
not
think-
too good.
Generally, this mon is going to be very hard to switch into. Like, just looking, like I was looking last month when we were projected to get it. I was like, Jolteon was the only thing that was coming to mind because it's immune to electric and it resists steel. Like that was it.
Jeez.
And same thing with like Kilowatt, but Kilowatt's getting blown up. So it's like, how many mons can I sack to the Magnezone? The answer is all of them because I think everything's going to die.
Thankfully, it's pretty slow. Base
I mean,
60 isn't that good.
Yeah, 60. is like the worst part about it. And like it's very I think Trick Room could be cool with Mag. But
you
even
can't
then
really make use of analytic though anymore.
Yeah, that's
faster.
what I was just about to say that. Like I was just looking like 130, 60. That's doable.
Yeah.
Someone could do it. I don't know who's going to, but
Not me.
Shengineer. We'll make it happen.
Shinjin! Right. Next up, like I showed y'all earlier, Mew. Oh my lord. How many? You talked about Infernape having like 6 sets. How you could run about Mew?
Let me think, because I think Hazard Lead is going to be good.
Mm-hmm.
Because I think he has Ceaseless Edge. He might not actually.
He learns a lot of moves, but I don't know if it gets ceaseless.
No, it does not. It doesn't get. Yeah, it doesn't get like the hazard setting.
Okay.
Signatures, but it does get spikes.
Yep, stealth rock spikes, T spikes.
Yeah, it gets all the hazards. I think maybe it doesn't get sticky web is like the only one.
Yeah, we move on. We don't care about webs.
Yeah, who cares about webs anyway? But I think hazard lead's gonna be good. I think it can do any variation of like specially offensive, whether that's Calm Mind or Nasty Plot. So I'd say that's like 2 and 3, I guess. Calm Mind, Nasty Plot.
You got DD as well.
DD, I think CB could also be decent because of CB pivoting.
Fun.
It's like Scarf, I think is fine. Specs probably also fine. I honestly think the Trapper Mew, where it's
stuff.
it gets Whirlpool as the trapping, so obviously you have to hit a Whirlpool. But like I don't know if it gets other trapping. Like I was looking at it because it doesn't get block. I think it used to have block.
It did. And it had block last gen.
Yeah, and so I think like if it has a move to trap, which I don't know if it does, other than Whirlpool. Like I'm looking at it, I think Whirlpool might be it.
Yeah, I mean that's fine enough, you know.
Yeah, or I mean it has Fire Spin as well. If it has Sand Tomb, maybe. I'm just like the issue with all of these is that they have immunities.
Yeah, I was thinking maybe Fire Spin or probably Fire Spin's the best because the immunities are like the least common because it's just flash fire mons.
Yeah, it's just flash fire mons anyway.
And you'd probably want to be able to trap something like a Vaporeon, for example.
That's also what I was thinking. So like you just do the like Fire Spin block or Fire Spin imprison, transform, like taunt or something. Stupid shit like that.
The issue that those sets are gonna have now though is since you don't permanently trap, you're not gonna be able to actually stall something like a Vaporeon out, I don't think. I think it's gonna be able to move again. Or not move again, but switch out before you can beat it down all the way.
Yeah, that is the problem. I mean, I think and on the right teams, I think it could be fine.
It could.
So that's what, like 8, 7?
Jesus Christ.
It has SD as well.
It does.
So I didn't even mention that. So like SD, I think it has Scale Shot as well.
Oh, SD Scale Shot sounds really fun.
It does have Scale Shot. So like SD. So let's recap here. All 3 choice items. That's 3. I think Calm Mind and Nasty Plot kind of do different things, because Calm Mind could be used similarly to what we had last gen with Mew, which was the Cosmic Power Body Press set. With you know, it had recovery at that point.
Now it has, I think, maybe Life Dew, and that's it.
Yeah, and Rest. I mean, Rest probably isn't even that bad on it.
Rest is probably fine if you really want to do something with stored power.
Yeah.
Just like Chesto, Resto, CM stored power, and then like Aura Sphere.
Yeah. So, let's see. So, all 3 choice items, Calm Mind, Nasty Plot, SD, DD, Transform, just for fun, and yeah, so that's 8. And I'm like probably even forgetting something else. Like even utility, like it has Encore.
Mm-hmm. The generic,
which I guess kind of, yeah, it just kind of goes into that as well. It has Knockoff, so like Knock, Hazards, Encore, whatever. Which I think that's slightly different than Hazard Lead, because you would be like Knock, pivoting move, Encore, type of shit. And I mean, it has Trick if you're running choice items. It has Toxic still. Like even I even think Subtox could be good now that I'm looking at it. Like I think there's a lot that you can sub up on because of your natural bulk. And I think there's a lot you can get a toxic off on because there's no clerics.
Mm-hmm.
So I mean, this mon has like maybe 9 good sets, or at least 8, and then one funny set with the trapper.
I think the variation in setup options is gonna maybe, if Mew is broken, it's gonna be that. Just how many
And
different
it
setup options
has the ability to Terra.
Yep.
It invalidates Screen's offense because physical, at least physical,
Fangs.
has Psychic Fangs. Like, it has one of the craziest move pools in the tier, straight up.
Yep.
Like, and I mean, that's just Mew, but like, this mon is crazy. And I think even Bulk Up could be good. Just for like, putting out like setup options.
Mm-hmm.
Like, Bulk Up, like, I don't know. It has a lot of options. I think there's like maybe 9 or 10 good ones that you can use. I think it's going to be like high-key kind of broken.
Next up, Mian Xiao. And you, of course, since you really burst onto the scene in NU last gen, you will remember when we got Mian Xiao.
I do remember this mon last gen, and it was a pain in the ass.
It's funny, too, because you didn't even have to run Reckless anymore, because it got CC last gen. So we got to run Regenerator on Bandit or Scarf, and you just get to pivot for free the entire game. There's no way to really punish it.
Pretty much, yeah. Pivoting for free. I know some people, when shifts first dropped, were like, yeah, I think Mian Xiao's kind of going to be ass because of how much checks it.
I don't even know how you can think that.
Yeah, I was thinking, yeah, Mian Xiao might be kind of bad, like, compared to last gen, but last gen we also had a very, I don't want to say, like, we had a weaker tier.
We did,
but
though.
we had,
let's be fair.
Yeah, I mean, compared to now, I mean, it is definitely weaker.
Mm-hmm.
But I think last gen we had a lot of ability to lose to a Mian Xiao, just straight up.
You did,
because
really, you did.
I think this gen, we have enough maybe to where, like, a Belly Bolt, I think, kind of pseudo-checks it because of static plus Rocky Helmet.
Does
but
CC
even then, Rocky...
shot you, though?
Probably yes, but...
Yeah, so there you go.
I mean, even, like, the Rocky Helmet, I guess, is nice, but even then, even if they pivot on your expected guy, it's just regen off.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, you have to kill everything in order for this mon to not have longevity. Because if it has the ability to switch, it will. And I think it's legitimately going to be good again. Like,
it will.
It's a Scarf Fighter, which we prior to this mega shift, we didn't really have Scarf Fighters.
No, Passimian was relegated to
Passimian. We had Tauros, Paldea, both of the good forms.
Flamago.
Yeah, Flamigo and like Heracross, but Heracross kind of sucks.
Doo-doo. Butt cheeks.
Yeah. So, I mean, having a 105 base speed Scarfer, or even a 105 speed Banded Mon. Like, last gen, we didn't have Terra, either.
No.
We had no gimmick because Dynamax was banned. But this gen, with Terra, even like a Terra fight CC, if you pave elsewhere, like, using your CCs, it's fine. Like, it's just kind of bonkers.
I think the Terra points actually, if anything, what would work most against Mian Xiao.
I think so, yeah, because
a lot of shit, Terra ghosts or poisons.
Random Terra ghosts, Terra poisons, Terra fairies, like, there's a lot of Terras that it can, you know, get stopped by. Like a Terra Fairy Slowbro is what I'm thinking of.
You don't even have to Terra Fairy with Bro. I doubt knockoff two-shots you. Maybe with, like, Terra Dark Band Mian Xiao it can, but...
That's what I was thinking, but I'm actually going to calc that.
But, like, in terms of mons that could scare it off, you've got both Slow Bros, and they can, of course, both go Helmet. You've got Talon back, which gotta dodge the Stone Edges, but you punish the other moves. And you got Vileplume still in the tier, which I assume Vileplume is still going to be quite good, too.
Yeah. I mean, Mian Xiao does have Ice Spinner as a new move.
Right.
As well as... I mean, Acro kind of existed last gen. A little bit.
I did put people onto SD Acro. I should not have.
I think it had Blaze Kick last gen, too.
It did. It also had Blaze Kick. I think it probably still does, then.
Yeah. It does not, actually. It lost Blaze Kick. But it kept Acro. So, I mean, even then, like I'm looking at a banded knockoff with Terra Dark. It's still doing enough to where the Glowbro or even regular Slowbro are like scared off by it, but they can switch out and then eat. It does 79 to 93 with Jolly. So Jolly Band is doing 79 to 93. You switch out, you're now doing 53 to 62.
Jeez.
So I think Mienshao is going to be kind of a weird, like, double-edged sword. Like, I think offensively it's going to be good, but defensively there are answers, especially with Terra.
I think there's going to be enough mons that tank CC and Oko back. And that's really probably what we need. I mean, U-turn's always annoying, especially on a mon with Regenerator. But
yeah,
if you... That'll be the question. Can you pin down the Mienshao and kill it? And I think as long as you're preventing CC spam, that's at least going a long way. Because I know we talked about, I think even just earlier this gen, with when Passimian was kind of OP. And I said kind of because there was a point about how, with especially Terra Ghost being just a thing you had, you could often force Passimian to be nothing but a U-turn bot, and that was viewed as acceptable enough counterplay, because, well, if it's not CCing, then I'm not really worried about it. And I can just keep throwing out my helmet mon. They can knock me once, but they still have to eventually, they have to decide to knock me, and maybe by that point I've gotten, like, multiple rounds of spikes and helmet already before they did that.
Yeah, and I think another thing is just the move Protect. Yeah. I think is going to go a long way to helping against Mienshao. Just because of the fact that I think its best sets are either going to be Banded or Scarfed.
And there should still be a decent amount of Protect users in the tier.
Yeah. Especially because we got a good amount of bulky waters, again, that can run Protect as a viable option. Like when you look at Pert, you look at Suicune, look at Vaporeon, which we'll get to those, but those can all run Protect pretty easily to get lefties recovery. And then just, even just if they're running boots, just like generally scout out for what the Mienshao is actually going to click.
Indeed.
And then it becomes a lot easier because if it click knock, you're like, okay, well, I can switch into my non-existent knock absorber because even if we have resist, there's not really absorbers. But you just switch into knock, and then you're like, okay, from there they're switching out, which gives you more progress to, aggressive double or do whatever.
Now we can go on. Melodic next. Another one of our wonderful bulky water type additions. This one got flip turn, right?
It did.
Yeah, that's pretty funny.
Yeah,
that's my issue's always been that it's kind of not passive necessarily because it's not that weak, but kind of a momentum sink.
It's 100 base, so it's not like super strong, but it's not like horrendously weak either for a mon that's like dedicated as your fat mon.
Yeah. And it did get Scald back as well, so I mean you've got like Scald, Flip, Recover, and then whatever last move you want.
Probably Haze.
Decent amount there. Yeah, Haze will be nice to have around, or Dragon Tail even.
Yeah.
Just some nice countermeasures to bulky setup.
Okay, I definitely thought it had Calm Mind for some reason.
Nope, thank God it does not.
Because it gets, well, I mean, Draining Kiss probably isn't that good, but it does get Alluring Voice, which I think is funny. It's not going to be good at all.
We will be Ice Beaming those Pokemon.
True. But, like, just as a general special, like, I was doing a calc, actually. Tatsugiri does not do that badly into Milotic, because I was looking at it earlier this morning. And, like, a +2 Draco kind of fucking pops it.
Mm-hmm.
And it can also, I was thinking about the Tatsu viability after we get a bunch of waters. And I think Taunt Nasty Plot might be the wave.
It could be decent.
But, like, specifically on Milo, like, you have one, it can be a defog deterrent. It has the ability to be a defog deterrent.
I'm probably running Marvel Skull all the time.
Oh, yeah, I'm like thinking about it, yeah.
I mean, because I just think you're going to get so many random exchanges where you're trying to throw off Scalds. You're going to get trade burns, and I think you want the defense boost.
Yeah, even, like, versus a Talonflame, where if you can predict a Wisp, or, like, you flip turn out on their, on something, I guess, like, I don't know, maybe they go hard Talon thinking you'd switch or something, you flip turn, and you get burned. It's like, oh, cool, my flips are weaker. However, my Marvel scale, I'm going crazy.
Yep.
And, like, I think even, well, actually, I don't know because no one's done a gender politics essay yet
Oh, thank God.
On Pokemon and NU, so I don't think Cute Charm is gonna really have any viability. So Marvel Skill's probably the wave always, but I mean, the Mon, it's just fat. It sits there. It pivots. Like, there's not a lot to talk about. Maybe offensive is decent because it does have a good speed tier. Or, like, good enough, I guess, because you do outpace Shandy, which I think is important.
Yeah, it's a very interesting speed tier. I'm just
It's
not sure how
80
much you can actually invest.
It's 81, which, I mean, if you're running just straight up Scarf, if you're just running straight up Scarf, I think it's okay.
Maybe,
But,
yeah, or even just like offensive in general. If you just run max speed and you're fine.
Yeah, I think just it's a generally fat water. It's gonna switch in. It's like a blanket check to like all special attackers. It has decent enough physical bulk with Marvel Scale. I think it's just generally gonna be good.
Next mon up, Minior. I don't think we really need to take a lot of time on this mon. It shell smashes, and it terras, and it's annoying.
This mon is gonna be stupid. Like, that's all I have to say about it. Like, I've said a lot for a lot of these other mons. This mon, I have nothing to say. It's just shell smash, aggro, terra fly. That's pretty much it.
There's really not a lot. Or the only thing would be like how good is Earthquake at beating some of the resistances to your dual stab, but I think it's probably not going to take a lot of support to enable.
Probably not. Like, if you look at a guy like Belly Bolt,
yeah,
who I think Belly is probably one of the best overall, like, general physical checks to a lot of these physical idiots. But like, if I'm running a calc currently. I'm very slow when it comes to calcs, but you can even run Adamant, I think. Well, actually, I don't know if you would, because you still get undersped, or you underspeed a lot by running Adamant.
Right.
So maybe not. But like a +2 Quake to a Belly is doing 65. And that's to like max Physf.
You could do Adamant for sure.
I mean, I don't know, because you become slower than like just like baseline. You become slower than I mean, you're gonna be slower anyway.
I'm looking at when you have changed your form, by the way.
Yeah, like I was saying,
you're 339 without a shell smash if you're Adamant.
Yeah, but you have to be in the first form to start with.
Hey man, a guy like me always is in the form I need.
Okay, well. Anyway, from I mean, you could run like Terra Ground maybe, and that would make the Belly Bolt matchup a lot easier because the Terra Ground Earthquake at +2 from Jolly just does 98.5 minimum.
I think flying may just be needed to beat down some of these waters.
Yeah, I think flying just generally with Terrafly Acro, like even versus like, let's just say...
Check Slowbro. Check what you're doing with +2 Acro.
68 with
Is that
Jolly.
with Terra?
With Terra, if you're Adamant, 75 to 88.
That's still kind of low, I'm gonna be honest.
Yeah, I don't think it's gonna be like, because it's only like 100 base, right?
Right.
So it's not like that bad. It's just not very. I don't want to deal with it. It's 120 base speed. It's a shell smasher. It's gonna kill everything with Acro unless I'm running like absurdly fat Pokemon. And frankly, I don't want to deal with it.
Makalola's next. This mon should be pretty good. T-Spike Absorber. Checks all the psychics.
This is a better AV mon than Incineroar.
Yeah,
for sure. Because obviously you're not
Drain
like
Punch, but I think it's a little bit better typing wise.
Yeah, that's what I was getting at. The typing is a lot better. I think Poison Touch is really clutch. If it can proc, if you're unlucky and it doesn't, sucks to suck. I guess I don't know.
But like, think of a Monkey Dory counter as well that you're gonna get.
It is a Monkey Dory counter, which is quite nice. Especially if you're running AV. Well, it depends, because the Monkey, we'll get to it in a second. I'll talk about it. But
oh, well, literally Monkey Dory's next. We can go right there.
I think Muck with overall, I think AV is going to be pretty cool because it is just a general check all on special side. It has knock, and it can, like, the thing that I'm imagining is like an Umbreon switches in, you knock it off, and it gets poisoned in the same turn. It's like double making progress. Like, we're going crazy.
Yep.
And I mean, even if you're not running AV, it does just have toxic, which is cool, and it has haze. Like, it has some decent options, and I think curse could be cool.
Could be a decent setup sweeper for sure.
I think curse with Terra, I think, would be cool.
You got Shadow Sneak. It literally would just be cosplaying his regular muck from earlier.
Yeah, it's just, you know, better because it has the stab knock, which I think is cool. But speaking of the monkey,
yeah, what you think about monkey? I think this has like 5 good sets.
I did not realize this had 130 base special attack.
Dude,
Jeez.
it's such a weird mon. Like I said, we were talking earlier. I thought this would be the best of them because it's got perfect coverage for what it needs.
Yeah.
The ability is kind of annoying because whatever blanket special wall maybe you throw out could just randomly get poisoned.
Yeah.
It can set up. It can run choice with trick.
Mm-hmm.
Why is it down?
That's where I was getting at for the muck, was getting tricked. Kind of sucks.
Bad. Even just being U-turned on forever.
Yeah. I think monkey is like, even I was looking in the NU court and Danny was saying that this mon was
It was.
We were looking at, sorry, I was looking at something else.
Oh.
But we were talking about, or he was talking about monkey, and he was like, yeah, it's still like solid in RU. He doesn't know why it dropped.
And I kind of keep so many mons at once.
That's true. I think monkey, out of all of the mons, I think this is like the one that I would like to see banned the most. Because this mon seems obnoxious. I think like perfect coverage coming off of a crazy good special attack stat. Every move that doesn't have a poison chance, like even the other shit, it's badly poisoning. So like you could like Psyshock a special wall, like a Milo or something. Maybe Milo's not checking out, I don't know. But Psyshock a Milo and it gets toxic. So it's like, oh cool, now it's on a timer. Mm-hmm. And like even like I'm just looking at other things, like obviously you can't toxic chain onto a steel type, whatever. Like Crocodile kind of low-key kind of walls your dual stab, but it gets focus blast. So it's like, okay, cool. My Crook just took like 100% from a focus blast. So I'm either dead, or if I live, then I'm getting toxic and I lose. Like, Overquill is probably going to be decent into checking it, but it's like the same thing. It's like getting bopped by a focus blast. And this also does have nasty plot, like, and taunt. So it just like sets up on, and like shit like Vapo. Vapo gets poisoned. Unless your Terra Steel and you have to pop your Terra immediately.
So, Necrozma, I'm gonna be honest, there's like 2 sets I anticipate with this guy, and it's like Dragon Dance is one of them, and then Autotomized Meteor Beam Demonology is the other.
Yeah, I think those are really the only 2. I think maybe it could use like a bulky rocks, but I think the offensive sets are like the best part about it.
Yeah, offensive rock sounds okay even.
Its bulk is great. Like, Prism Armor is low-key pretty solid. Mm-hmm. And it's like, does it still have a Totemize? Oh, Totemize got nuked.
It has a speed boost move. I remember checking. It might be Rock Polish.
It does not have Rock Polish either.
Does it not? Did it lose both speed boosts?
I think it did.
Wow. Well, DD then. Run DD Meteor Beam.
Yeah.
Yo, that sounds so demonic, though. They don't know what you're running.
It also has Stored Power, which I think is hilarious as well.
That could be.
So, yeah, he does not have a speed boosting move anymore, but I still think Necrozma is going to be sick.
Yeah. Noivern next. I think some people try Specs, and I think they'll be kind of disappointed. To be honest.
It's 97 base. It's the same thing as running a Specs Galvantula.
I think Dragalgy is better if you want to run like the offensive EVs. On Noivern, I'm thinking Defog is going to be what really gives it credit, because you're going to have that nice, fast, bulky utility mon in the tier now.
A good defensive type, bulk, pivoting. Actually, a pretty solid ability in Frisk as well, which I find kind of cool.
Yeah.
Because of shit like, if it's you know, if it's a mon like Infernape, okay, cool, I can switch into that thing's dual stab and find out what item it is. Or even Infiltrator for like screens.
And it's just a nice fight resist, because it outspeeds basically all of them, unless they're Scarf, but still good to outspeed, and then you can kill them with a Hurricane.
Yeah, it has reliable recovery. It has Taunt, it has Whirlwind, which I don't think will be used, but it's funny.
Overquill's back, and this one's the one I'm a little torn on, because I think, on one hand, the bulky sets might just be worse than Muck, but on the other hand, I think the offensive sets get a lot better, with Rain looking to be even better with the new abusers. So I don't really know how to feel about its return. I think it's just worse than it was.
I think now it's worse than it was.
Yeah.
Because defensively, like, you're being overpowered. Like, its bulk is still decent, like 85, 65 on the special side.
I think you just run,
whatever.
that's my thing, right? I think you just run Muck for that now.
Yeah, you would just run Mug. And I think offensively, I think its only place is going to be on Rain.
Yeah, agreed.
Because I think 85 for an SD mon, I think is just too slow. Mm-hmm. Especially when it doesn't have, like, phenomenal bulk. Like 85, 95, 65, whatever. But I think on Rain, it's going to be a lot better.
Yep. PZ next. I don't have a ton to say about it.
I don't either. I think there's really only going to be 3 sets.
Yeah. I mean, it could do Scarf, it could do Specs.
Maybe 4. I
think
Scarf,
Agility's
Specs,
fun. I do like Agility.
I think, yeah, that's what I was going to get at. I was going to say Specs, Scarf, Solo Nasty Plot, Solo Agility, or Dual Dance.
Yeah. Sounds about it.
I mean, this one just kills shit. Like, we had it last gen and it killed everything, and it got banned. So
we have better steals this time around. Like, having Registeel's pretty big because that doesn't have, you have to Terra to have coverage for it.
Yeah, or you have to trick at your Specs or Scarf, which means you're not hitting as hard or you're not as fast.
And teams can beat, like, very easily Registeel plus one of those protect special walls like Vapo or Umbi or even Sylveon, so that gives you a lot of extra scouting around the potential tricks.
I think, I mean, not to get too far down the rabbit hole, but I do think all of its abilities kind of have merit. Like, adaptability, obviously you're hitting very hard with your stab pry attacks, I guess, and, like, if you Terra, I guess, I don't know how that works with it, but...
It's bad.
It's like 2.25. It's like the same shit as
It gives, like, an additional 1.1 buff. It's ass.
Yeah,
and you lose adaptability on your normal move if you Terra into something else.
Yeah, so that low-key kind of makes me think that, like, download might not be that bad.
Yeah.
Or, like, even analytic, because, like, analytic, you're, like, sending out the PZ, you want to switch something into it. Like, sure, you can just bop it. I mean, it's probably not that good, but I think download has some merit to it.
It does. Quag is next. And this one's a real fun one, because of course Quag got hazards this gen. I also think Water Absorb will actually be pretty decent on Quag, kind of in part because it has hazards, so you can play it sort of like a Gastrodon if you want.
Yeah.
I think that might not be the best use of it, mind you, because, I mean, it's kind of like, okay, just use Gastro, then have Quag for Unaware. But it at least adds another thing to Quag. There's not really much else I have to say there.
Yeah, I mean, it just has hazards. It just walls everything because of Unaware, so it just blocks setup. I mean, it can use Water Absorb to be a water immune.
It's a Lycan check.
It does check Lycan. And it has reliable recovery. It's kind of very similar to, it's very similar to Gastro.
Yeah,
That's
it's like a
kind of
weird mid-ground between Part and Gastro, in a way.
Yeah.
Raikou next. This mon scares me. I don't want to talk about it.
This mon absolutely scares the shit out of me.
I think, we talked about earlier, Sub-CM will be really good. You check
I think this is like another mon where we're talking about versatility. I think this has like 4 viable sets.
Yeah. Sub-CM should be good. CM3 attacks. Specs.
Actually, not even just thinking about that. Sub-CM, I think CM3A. Sub-Protect, I think, is going to be obnoxious.
Oh, that will be.
And then Specs and Scarf.
Sounds good.
I mean, it's going to be annoying. I think this is another mon that I'd like to see banned.
You don't have great coverage for the water grounds is the only issue, but I think Scald will be good enough for them. Does it still have Scald?
It does.
Yeah, I think Scald will be good enough for them. Outside of Gastro, you just burn things like Quag and Hurt.
Yeah, Trailblaze.
Oh, thank God. That's what I've been waiting to hear all day, man. Trailblaze Raikou. Let's go.
Yeah.
Regidrago, another mon. I'm not talking about this. They gave it EQ and Earth Power. I did not need to see this mon get coverage.
I didn't need to see this mon be able to viably hit Steel types.
Yeah. And again, I don't really care if this thing has to Terra to hit fairies. It will Terra just to 1v1 the fairies. It'll
honestly, Terra Ground DD. It also has Skill Shot.
Yeah.
Which means it can run...
Oh, you were thinking Terra Ground. I was thinking Terra Steel with Terra Blast.
That would also work. but I'm thinking like DD scale shot
That could be good.
might just be fucking crazy because Dragon's Maw is a bonkers attack.
It is.
Or a bonkers ability. It has good enough bulk. It's kind of like Guzzy like from last gen. 250-50. It's not fast. That's the main problem. It's 80. So like if you're scarfing it, you're like being tied with Gudra and like Shandy and Gallade and shit like that. But this mon's gonna be stupid. I'm not looking forward to it.
Reuniclus will also be very stupid.
This one's also this is a pretty common trend if you guys haven't picked up on it. Pretty stupid Pokemon, like not like Mew levels of versatility, but it has so many good sets.
OTR,
good moves.
You've got just normal bulky Calm Mind. You can even run Assault Vest if you want with your generator.
Yeah, QZL in the NU Cord was talking about that.
It's gonna be really good.
Yeah. So I mean, even T-Wave, it has Trick. So like, if you want to run Trick Specs, it has Magic Guard and Regenerator, which are two of the best abilities in the game.
It's literally like a cat player's wet dream, where they just stack two broken abilities on one mon. They're like, yep, this is normal.
And it's a viable Trick Room candidate.
And we got Rhyperior, and I remember we had this last gen, and we knew it was leaving immediately, but we were so happy to have it for 1 minute.
Yep, it was around that same time. I think we got Milotic, Rose Raid, Noivern, and Crobat.
Yeah, that was a really good meta.
It was a good meta. I missed that meta.
But Ripe is really nice. It's a rocker that beats like all the removal, right?
No.
Other than the grasses, kind of?
Other than the grasses, yes, because you do at least trade with Noivern and like if Noivern wants to get rid of your hazards in front of you, then you at least trade there. You trade with Talon. Tentacruel can kind of just like scald you,
but you can
or whatever.
Terastallize there, and you're not too bad.
Yeah, I think this is
also Tentacruel doesn't even
nice.
get scald now. It has to use Surf.
Yeah, okay, never mind. That mod sucks.
Yeah, but I think it's gonna be a great Terastallizer because of Solid Rock.
Oh,
so
absolutely. I think
you could
offensively,
argue Lightning Rod is better in some situations, maybe. Like if you wanted to.
I think Lightning Rod is fine. I think Lightning Rod is fine if you Terra Water.
But otherwise, I'd just always do Solid Rock, and I think even then I'd do Solid Rock on Terra Water.
Yeah.
Rotom Heat, I'm gonna be honest, I'm not that interested in.
I don't think it's a very boring mod.
Yes,
which
that's like, the reason. It's boring.
It's boring. I don't think Specs is going to be used on this because it's too slow. I think
only Plot or like pure utility. Like
it's going to be Plot, Boot,
Will-O-Wisp.
Yeah, Boots, Plot, Scarf, or like utility. That's it. It lost Defog. If it had Defog, it probably wouldn't even be in this tier.
No.
But it's just like Plot. I think if you're running Plot, you do like Plot over Heat T-Bolt, whatever. Or like Plot Wisp. Utility, you just do like Wisp, Volt Switch, Pain Split, whatever.
Yeah.
Scarf is probably just like Trick, Volt Switch, T-Bolt, Overheat. It's a very boring Pokemon. It's going to be good, I think, because it's a ground immune. It has good resistances. It's
checking Tort and T-Flame is pretty cool.
That is also true.
Next is the Bro.
Yeah. Oh, the Bro. We're losing this mod.
Yes.
I hate to break it to anyone that thought we were going to keep this. No. We are losing this.
Already lost Slowking, so they should be taking Slowbro.
If UU completely just stops using Slowking, like it rises, okay, maybe it was a flavor of the month thing and it rose and now it sucks. It is what it is.
Yeah.
It comes back. Maybe we keep it, but we're probably losing this mod.
We got Glowbro anyway to fix the void.
Yeah, exactly. Like, who needs Slowbro when you have its, like, kind of funny looking cousin?
Yeah.
Like,
you'll basically see the exact same sets though that Glowbro ran.
Oh, absolutely. There's no difference in these move pools. Like, actually, zero.
Sludge Bomb's like the big difference, right?
Sludge Bomb compared to running.
Quick Draw, but we don't talk about him.
Yeah, this is going to be the exact same, and I don't think the other Glowbro has T-Wave. I think that's the only other big thing.
I thought they both have T-Wave.
I don't know. Honestly, I have not used a ton of Glowbro.
Gotcha.
So, Slowbro Galar might have it, and I might just be stupid. Oh, it does. Yeah.
Okay, there you go.
Oh, and regular Slowbro does not have Toxic. That's the other big one.
Oh, right. So
I think it's going to be, like, just use the other one, I think. Because, like, this is going to be a good mod. Like, it has good bulk. That's the big thing. It has better bulk than Glowbro.
Water resistance is the big thing.
And the
There's
water
a lot of
resist
physical water types.
Yeah, I think it's like very on par. I think with its cousin Slowbro, Galar, but like, I mean, we're losing this bond. I'm not even gonna use it. Like, I don't want to use it and build teams with it and be like, oh yeah, this is sick, and then lose it the next month.
Smeargle I will not talk about at all. Instead, I will go to my builder and show you this set.
Yeah, this one has a lot of moves. I don't know what sets you're showing it, but
Don't worry. The Stone Axe one.
for-
That's all they need to see.
oh yeah, okay, yeah.
Suicune
So, yeah,
next.
It just sets hazards and dies.
yeah.
That's it.
Suicune
This one
will run the
is
Vincoon
obnoxious.
set and be annoying.
Vincoon,
Crocoon.
Crocoon.
That's really it. I don't think offensive is very good.
I don't think it will be. A subtext, like,
yeah.
whatever. CM. It's just gonna wall everything, and it is what it is. Oh, cool. The server's restarting.
Nice. Pert next. Beautiful.
Beautiful Pokemon. Honestly, not gonna be broken because it's not very strong. Like 110, decently strong, but it's like it has utility. It has Stealth Rock, doesn't get spikes, so it's a little bit different.
Earthquake, Flip Turn, Stealth Rock, and then some filler move.
Knockoff. Fuck it.
Sure, why not? Talon next.
Talon, good Pokemon.
Yeah, it'll
It's
run the same set as last gen.
absolutely the same set. I don't think we need to go over it much. Wisp.
They know what
Well,
Talon
actually,
is.
it did lose Toxic, which is the big.
True.
It is
Still
kind of big.
Wisp.
You still have Wisp. You have Taunt. You have Roost. You have Pivoting,
Defog.
Defog. You have SD if you want to run offensive. But just just watch any of Rabia's videos from Gen 8.
Yeah.
There you go.
Tentacruel, I still think it'll be good, but no Scald is kind of cringe because it's really passive now.
It has Flip Turn.
That's actually kind of decent for compensating.
Yeah, I think Flip Turn Spin, like Toxic, I think is going to be good.
Does it still get
Flip Turn
knockoff?
Spin Toxic. It does.
Okay. Yeah, there you go. There's a set.
No, it's not gonna be bad. I don't think. I think Liquid Ooze is also kind of funny
It is.
because of like Strength Sap from Plume. Just kind of dunks on that. I don't know if any are draining moves, like a random Drain Punch.
Strength Sap from what's called Bramble, I guess.
Yeah, and I don't know. Other moves maybe. I don't know. Run Terra Dragon so you can wall Belly Bolt.
Sure.
And then can't Parabolic Charge. I don't know. I think it's gonna be a good pivot.
It will.
Probably not much else other than that. Pivot with Rapid Spin. That is what it is.
Torterra I will not be speaking about because this mon is cringe.
This one is cringe.
Yeah.
You guys
The only
don't
thing
know.
that holds it back, because we may as well talk about this for a brief moment, is it's kind of slow, even with a
Yeah.
smash. So I think a lot
That's
of
it.
Scarfers are just still faster compared to Blastoise last gen, where it was like Heliolisk is the only Scarfer that outran it.
Yeah.
Tort doesn't have that same benefit. So that may be enough to keep it balanced. We'll see.
And I think even then, I think you had the ability to potentially outspeed it, or outspeed Lisk with Blastoise. I think
You
it was
did.
possible
You could.
because
had to EV
you just
different.
had to run Jolly instead of a boosting move. You had to run Earthquake, but yeah, Tort also gets a Headlong Rush.
That's pretty cool.
Gets Shell Smash. It has Bullet Seed, so it can run Loaded Dice. It's gonna be stupid. I do kind of like the Mon like as a defensive profile, but no one's gonna run defensive when you can just kill everything.
Typhlosion Hisui next. This is Chandelure, but better.
Yeah. This is literally it's Shandy without the fire immunity,
Yeah.
or the ability to
There you go.
burn, like on contact. But like, you have Blaze, which is gonna be pretty strong. You have what's its move called? Infernal Parade.
Something like that, yeah.
It's basically Hex, but with the ability to burn. You have Shadow Ball. You are faster than Shandy, which is cool. You're 95. You are substantially weaker, but does have Eruption, which I think could be funny. This might be better than regular Typhon Sun.
It should. It's a little slower, but I don't think it'll matter that much.
Yeah, it's only slower by 5 points,
Yeah.
and it's stronger, I think.
Yes.
I
it is.
wanna say it is.
Then Vaporeon's next. I'm not talking about Vaporeon because you all know what it does. But it got Scald back, so...
Did you know that in terms of...
No,
I'm
Venusaur
not-
next.
Yep.
And I also
Last
don't really
month.
have much to say about Venusaur. It's just, it might break Sun finally. That's really all I have to comment about it, right?
Honestly, I'm gonna counterpoint that.
Okay.
I don't think it breaks Sun, because I think Scovillain is unironically a better mon on Sun than Venusaur.
Oh,
I think that's a hot take. I share that take with Dr. PhD BJ.
in terms of good takes, this is not one of them, but I'll let you have it.
Hear me out.
Nope.
So Venusaur, it does have good bulk. Don't get me wrong, it has good bulk. 80, 83, 100, very good. Better speed tier at 80, which means you're not being outsped by much. Also good. Good coverage. It has, Weather Ball. It has the has Sludge Bomb, like Grass Move, Solar Beam, or whatever. Doesn't matter. Earth Power. That's that. But if you look at a Scovillain, it's not much slower than Venusaur. The bulk is very important. I think the bulk is nice because it means you can't get revenge as easily. But the bulk is a little bit worse on Scovillain by a good margin. Like, it's pretty frail. It's stronger. It still gets growth, which I think is another thing. It's slightly slower, still has growth. I think the baseline Fire Stab, I think, is what puts Scovillain slightly above Venusaur for me. Because I think, like, sun-boosted Fire Blasts are pretty crazy.
Damn.
Yeah. So, frankly, Venusaur probably, at least Venusaur at the bare minimum, replaces Victory Bell on Sun. We can stop using Victory Bell.
Yeah.
Because Victory Bell is horrible. I thought it was always horrible.
I liked it for a good bit, though I think by the end of February it was pretty phased out of Sun teams.
Yeah, I think Sun kind of has seen a little bit of different variations. Like, I know BJ uses a team where it's a Shift Tree on it, which I think Shift Tree is low-key pretty decent on Sun.
Right.
Like Zard is obviously still good. Either type form.
What's it called? Lilligant Hisui back now.
Yeah, and Lilligant Hisui I think is just better as well.
Yeah.
And I mean, Scovillain, unironically, is a fine mon on Sun. I think Venusaur as well, also outside of Sun. I think Subseed is going to be cool. And it has Toxic as well, so Subtoxic could be also nice.
Well, we made it through all the drops finally, so the video will be ending there. I'm not going to cover the other mons that just rose to NU or dropped out of it, because frankly, video's an hour and a half. Y'all got a movie out of us today, so...
Hell yeah.
Hope y'all enjoyed. Shout out to Awood for joining me on this great journey.
Yes, sir.
What are your final thoughts?
Play NU.
Yes.
For the time being, because
Forever.
or not for the forever, but for the time being, this tier is the craziest we've ever seen it. I highly recommend playing it, getting on ladder, just building some stupid shit, having some fun. I highly recommend it.
Thank y'all for watching. See y'all next video. Peace.
Ooh.